Hello biology student, this is Mr. Worley here. We are going to have our lecture 7-4, the diversity of cellular life. Let's focus on our objectives. We need to describe cell specialization, and we want to identify the organization levels in multicellular organisms. Our lecture exercises are page 193, numbers 1 through 4. As usual, we're having a quizaroo tomorrow. You need to make sure you know your vocabulary words as well as the key concepts. Okay, please make sure your book is out, you have a pen and paper handy, and you're ready to get busy taking notes. Here we go, 7-4, the diversity of life. Our key concept is what is cell specialization, what are the 4 levels of organization in multicellular organisms. Our vocabulary is cell specialization, tissue, organ, and organ system. All right. I recommend class, you put this on pause, you go through the chapter and you look at all the pictures, you look at all the subheadings, and you kind of get a sense of what we're talking about. Got it? Okay, moving along. Let's read together. Read with me. Don't space out and look at the TV screen. Read with me. Put it on pause whenever you need to write down notes. Earth is sometimes called a living planet, and for good reason. From its simple beginnings, life has spread to every corner of the globe, penetrating deep into Earth and far beneath the surface of the seas. The diversity of life is so great that you might have to remind yourself that all living things are composed of cells, use the same basic chemistry, follow the same genetic code, and even contain the same kind of organelles. This does not mean that all living things are the same. It does mean that their differences arise from the ways in which cells are specialized to perform certain tasks, and the ways in which cells associate with each other to form multicellular organisms. That's you. You are a multicellular organism. Unicellular organisms. Uni means one, cellular means cell. Cells are the basic units of living organisms, but sometimes a single cell is a little more than that. Sometimes a cell is the organism. A single-celled organism is also named a unicellular organism. Unicellular organisms do everything that you would expect a living thing to do. They grow, they respond to the environment, transform energy, and reproduce. In terms of their numbers, unicellular organisms dominate life on Earth. Some examples of unicellular organisms are shown in figure 7-2. Wow, cool. What is a unicellular organism? Great quiz question. Moving down the page. Multicellular organisms made up on communication and cooperation among specialized cells. Cells throughout the organism can develop into different ways to perform different tasks. That's a key point. This process is called cell specialization. Great vocab word, great quiz question. Next page, page 191. I want you, as you study, check out this figure, cell specialization. Cells in multicellular organisms are specialized to perform particular functions within the organism. Red blood cells transport oxygen throughout the body. Pancreatic cells produce compounds such as insulin that the body needs. Muscle cells contract and relax to move the body parts. Guard cells control the opening and closing of the stomata on the underside of leaves. Wow, God is so amazing. He made all these cells to do different things, but at the same time, all of the information for all of those cells is packed in the nucleus. How does it do that? Wow. Okay. Specialized animal cells. Animal cells are specialized in many ways. Red blood cells are specialized to transport oxygen. Red blood cells contain a protein that binds to oxygen in the lungs and transports the oxygen throughout the body where it is released. Cells specialized to produce proteins, for example, are found in the pancreas. The pancreas is a gland that produces enzymes that make it possible to digest food. As you might expect, pancreatic cells are packed with ribosomes and rough ER, which are where proteins are produced. Pancreatic cells also possess large amounts of other organelles needed for protein export, including a well-developed Golgi apparatus and clusters of storage vacuoles loaded with enzymes. The human ability to move is the result of specialized structures of muscle cells. These cells generate force by using dramatically overdeveloped cytoskeleton. The skeletal muscle cells are packed with fibers arranged in a tight, regular pattern. Those fibers are actin microfilaments and cytoskeletal proteins called myosin. When they contract, muscle cells use chemical energy to pull these fibers past each other, generating force. Just like my fingers here, pulling together, generating force. Yeah, I just lifted a 50-pound barbell. Nice! Anyway. Whether your muscles are large or small, your muscle cells themselves are bulked up with these specialized cytoskeletal proteins to a degree that makes them the body's undisputed heavyweight lifting champions. Awesome! You know, class student, it just rocks my mind. In your cells, a level of specification, a level of organization, a level of functionality that we as humans can't even mimic. We can't even make computers, cars, any kind of tool that is that specialized. Man, that is so cool. All right, moving right along, page 192. Level specialized plant cells. A plant basking in the sunlight may seem quite quiet and passive, but it is actually, hold on, focusing, interacting with the environment at every moment. It rapidly exchanges carbon dioxide, oxygen, water vapor, and other gases through tiny openings called stomata at the undersides of the leaves. Highly specialized cells, known as guard cells, regulate this exchange. Guard cells monitor the plant's internal conditions, changing their shape according to the conditions. For example, when the plant can benefit from gas exchange, the stomata open. Stomata close tightly when the plant's internal conditions change. Whoa, did you catch that? Let's check this out. Let's say this is a leaf, and this is a little pore, and this right here are the guard cells. They're actively sensing the air, seeing what's it like out there, comparing to how it is on the inside, and choosing whether to close off tight or to open wide to let gas in. That rocks! Awesome! Highly specialized. Next, levels of organization. Biologists have identified levels of organization that make it easier to describe cells within a multicellular organism. The levels of organization in a multicellular organism are individual cells. I want you to know this. The next level is tissues, the next level is organs, the next level is organ systems. These levels of organization are shown in figure 722. Great quiz question. Tissues. In multicellular organisms, cells are the first level of organization. Similar cells are grouped into units called tissues. A tissue is a group of similar cells that perform a particular function. What is a tissue? Great quiz question. The collection of cells that produce digestive enzyme in the pancreas make up one kind of tissue. Most animals have four main types of tissue: muscle, epithelial, nervous, and connective tissue. You will read about these types of tissue later in the chapter. Let's go down to our next page, 193. Let's try to get this done in a minute and a half. Organs, the next level up. Organs. Many tasks within the body are too complicated to be carried out by just one type of tissue. In these cases, many groups of tissues work together as an organ. Organ, what is that? Good quiz question. For example, each muscle in your body is an individual organ. Within the muscle, however, there are much more than muscle tissue. There are nerve tissues and connective tissues. Each type of tissue performs an essential task to help the organ function. And finally, organ systems. In most cases, an organ completes a series of specialized tasks. A group of organs that work together to perform a specific function is called an organ system. The organization of the body, the tissues, organs, and organ systems creates a division of labor among those cells that make multicellular life possible. Specialized cells such as nerve and muscle cells are able to function precisely because of other cells that are specialized to obtain food and oxygen needed by those cells. This overall specialization and interdependence is one of the remarkable attributes of living things. Appreciating this characteristic is an important step to understanding the nature of living things, and I would say an important step to knowing how awesome God is. Okay, class, that wraps it up. We have questions 1, 2, 3, 4 on page 193 to do. I also want you to review your objectives, describe cell specialization, and identify the organization levels in multicellular organisms. A very easy quiz tomorrow, and you can do it. This is Mr. Worley signing off, saying I love you and God does too, and this rocks. Okay. Whew.